There are moments in life when you feel like you are standing in a room full of people, yet no one truly sees you. There are days when your heart screams for someone to understand, but the world remains silent. Are you feeling alone today? Loneliness is often seen as something to fear, something to escape from as quickly as possible. But what if loneliness isn't a sign of weakness? What if it's a phase, a season in life designed to help us grow? Too often we associate being alone with being unwanted, unloved, or incapable of forming connections. But the truth is, loneliness is not an enemy. It is a mirror that reflects who we are when no one else is around. There are moments in life when you feel disconnected, as if the world has moved on without you. You look around and people seem to have their own circles, their own conversations, their own lives filled with laughter and purpose. And in those moments, a deep sense of isolation can creep in, making you question your worth. But loneliness is not a punishment, it is an opportunity, an invitation to understand yourself in a way that no amount of company can teach you. Growth does not happen in comfort. When you are constantly surrounded by noise, by distractions, by people who validate your presence, it is easy to lose sight of who you really are. But when you are alone, you are forced to sit with yourself, to listen to the thoughts that you often push aside. It is in those quiet moments that you begin to understand your own heart. You begin to question what truly makes you happy, what dreams you have buried beneath the expectations of others. You start to confront the fears that you have been running from, the insecurities that have been whispering to you in the background of your mind. Loneliness is not a sign that you are weak or unworthy. It is a phase of transformation, much like a seed buried beneath the soil. In the darkness, it may feel as if nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, roots are growing, strength is being built, and soon, something beautiful will emerge. The moments when you feel most alone are often the moments when you are being prepared for something greater. It is during these seasons of solitude that you develop resilience, that you learn to stand on your own without seeking validation from the world. The people who grow the most in life are the ones who embrace their solitude instead of fearing it. They use this time to reflect, to heal, to dream. They understand that being alone does not mean being empty. It means having space to fill with things that truly matter. They begin to realize that their worth is not tied to how many people surround them, but to the strength they build within themselves. One day, when this phase passes, you will look back and realize that loneliness was never your enemy. It was the season that shaped you, strengthened you, and prepared you for a life far greater than you imagined. Pain is something we often try to escape. We run from it, we resist it, and we wish it never existed. But what if pain wasn't the enemy? What if the very moments that break you are the ones shaping you into someone unbreakable? Life has a way of testing us in ways we never expect. The people we trust the most may leave. The dreams we build with so much hope may shatter, and the plans we carefully create may fall apart right before our eyes. In those moments, pain feels unbearable, as if it will consume every part of who we are. But pain is not just suffering. It is transformation. When everything is going well, we rarely stop to think about what truly matters. We move through life believing that happiness is meant to last forever, that the things we love will never leave. But when pain comes, it forces us to pause, to question, to reflect. It strips away the illusions and makes us see life for what it really is. It teaches us who we are when we have nothing left but ourselves. Pain is a sculptor, chiseling away the parts of us that no longer serve our growth, removing our fears, our doubts, and our weaknesses, leaving behind something stronger, something unbreakable. Some of the most powerful people in history, the ones who have inspired generations, have known suffering intimately. They have walked through fire, endured heartbreak, faced rejection, and lost everything they once held dear. But instead of letting pain destroy them, they let it fuel them. They turned their wounds into wisdom, their struggles into strength. They realized that pain was not a barrier, it was a bridge leading them to something greater. Pain has a way of showing you what you're truly capable of. It forces you to find strength you never knew existed. When life knocks you down and you think you cannot take another step, yet you do, It is in that moment you discover your power. You learn that you can endure, that you can rise, that you can keep moving forward even when everything inside you is telling you to give up. You realize that your past struggles have not made you weak. They have built a foundation so strong that nothing can shake it. There will be moments when the weight of your pain feels unbearable, when you wonder why you had to go through so much. But what you may not see in that moment is that your pain is shaping you into someone you were always meant to become. The scars you carry are not marks of defeat. They are proof that you survived, that you fought, that you refused to break. And one day, you will look back and see that the pain that once felt like a curse was actually the greatest source of your power. Self-worth is often measured by external validation, societal approval, and the presence of relationships or achievements. However, the concept of intrinsic value suggests that an individual's worth is not contingent on external factors, but is instead inherent. Psychological research supports the notion that self-esteem and self-worth should originate from within rather than being reliant on external validation. Studies indicate that individuals with intrinsic self-worth demonstrate higher levels of resilience, lower susceptibility to anxiety and depression, and improved overall well-being. The human tendency to seek validation from others is deeply ingrained. Evolutionary psychology explains this through the need for social belonging, as early human survival depended on group acceptance. In contemporary society, social media and constant connectivity amplify this dependence, reinforcing the belief that external approval equates to personal value. However, research suggests that this form of validation is often temporary and unreliable. External validation fluctuates based on circumstances, opinions, and changing societal standards, whereas internal self-worth provides stability and long-term psychological well-being. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, emphasizes that an individual's thoughts shape their perception of self-worth. Negative thought patterns, such as equating worth with productivity, appearance, or social status, can lead to a distorted self-image. Developing an understanding that self-worth is independent of these external factors is essential. Psychologists recommend practices such as self-reflection, mindfulness, and cognitive restructuring to reinforce an internal sense of worth. Individuals who engage in these practices report increased confidence, reduced stress levels, and greater life satisfaction. In philosophical discourse, existentialist perspectives align with the belief that human worth exists independently of societal validation. Thinkers such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Viktor Frankl emphasize the importance of self-direction, arguing that meaning and value are created by the individual rather than imposed by external forces. Frankl's logotherapy, in particular, highlights the capacity of individuals to find purpose and value in their existence, regardless of external circumstances. Empirical studies have further supported the connection between self-defined worth and greater emotional stability. From a sociological perspective, cultural norms and social expectations often shape perceptions of worth. Collectivist societies may place greater emphasis on communal approval, whereas individualistic cultures promote self-reliance. Despite these variations, research across cultures indicates that individuals who derive their self-worth from internal validation rather than societal expectations report greater psychological well-being. Additionally, data suggests that self-worth rooted in intrinsic values, such as personal integrity and ethical principles, contributes to long-term fulfillment. Practical applications of this concept include fostering self-compassion, setting personal goals independent of external recognition, and engaging in activities that align with individual values. Studies show that individuals who practice self-acceptance experience higher levels of life satisfaction and lower levels of stress. By recognizing that self-worth is inherent rather than externally assigned, individuals can cultivate a stable sense of identity and confidence. This understanding reduces dependence on external validation, leading to greater emotional resilience and overall well-being. Loneliness is often seen as something to be avoided, something that brings pain and isolation. But what if loneliness is not an absence, but an opportunity? What if, instead of running from it, you embraced it? as a journey to discover the deepest parts of yourself. There is something powerful about solitude, about sitting in silence and truly listening to your own thoughts, your own dreams, and your own desires, without the noise of the world telling you who you should be. When you are constantly surrounded by people, by distractions, by the endless expectations of society, it is easy to lose yourself. You begin to define yourself by how others see you, by what they expect from you, by the roles you play in their lives. But when you are alone, all of that fades away. You are left with just yourself, and that is where true self-discovery begins. You start to ask the questions that matter. What do I truly want? What makes me happy? What am I passionate about? What kind of life do I want to create? Loneliness can be painful, but within that pain is a gift. The gift of self-awareness. When you sit with your loneliness, you begin to recognize the parts of yourself that need healing, the wounds that have been ignored for too long. You start to understand your fears, your insecurities, and the patterns that have been holding you back. And once you see them clearly, you can begin the process of growth, of transformation. Solitude gives you the space to heal, to nurture yourself, to build a foundation of self-love that is not dependent on anyone else. Many of the greatest minds in history have found their purpose in solitude. Artists, writers, philosophers, and visionaries have often spoken about the power of being alone. It is in these moments of isolation that creativity is born, that ideas take shape, that dreams become clear. When you are alone, your mind is free to explore without limitations, without outside influences shaping your thoughts. This is the time to reconnect with your passions, to rediscover the things that bring you joy, to allow yourself the freedom to dream without fear of judgment. There is beauty in learning to enjoy your own company. When you no longer fear being alone, you become unstoppable. You realize that your happiness is not dependent on others, that you do not need constant validation to feel worthy. You begin to trust yourself, to rely on yourself, to build a life that is fulfilling, even in solitude. The more you embrace this journey of self-discovery, the more you will see that loneliness was never meant to break you. It was meant to guide you back to yourself. There are moments in life when the silence feels unbearable, when the emptiness of a room echoes louder than any words could. It is in these moments that loneliness whispers lies, making you believe that no one sees you, no one hears you, no one cares. But the truth is, you are not truly alone. Somewhere, someone cares for you, even if you do not see it yet. It could be a friend who thinks of you but hasn't found the right words to say. It could be a stranger whose life you have unknowingly touched. It could be someone who remembers your kindness, your laughter, your presence, even when you feel invisible. Life has a way of making us believe that unless we are constantly surrounded by people, we are alone. But connection does not always have to be loud or visible. Sometimes love exists in the quiet gestures. The message left unread but felt, the memory of a shared moment, the silent prayers someone says for you without you ever knowing. There is more love around you than you realize. The world is vast, and sometimes the care we long for is simply hidden in places we haven't looked yet. Even if you feel unseen, there is one person who must always care for you. Yourself. The way you speak to yourself, the way you treat yourself, the way you hold yourself in moments of darkness matters more than you know. When the world feels distant, you have to be the one to remind yourself that you are worthy, that your existence matters, that you deserve love, even from yourself. It is easy to wait for others to show us kindness. But sometimes, the love we seek must first come from within. Taking care of yourself is not just about surviving the lonely nights. It is about choosing to embrace your own presence. It is about treating yourself the way you would treat someone you love. It is about finding joy in your own company, learning to listen to your own needs, and becoming your own source of comfort. The more you nurture yourself, the more you realize that loneliness is not always about a lack of people. It is often about the connection we have with ourselves. No one goes through life unseen. Even in moments of solitude, you leave traces of yourself in the world, in the kindness you have given, in the memories you have created, in the hearts you have touched without even knowing it. And even if you cannot feel it now, There are people who carry you with them, who think of you, who cherish you in ways that may not always be obvious. The world has a way of surprising us, of reminding us that love exists in places we never expected. And the more you believe in that, the more you will see that you were never truly alone. There are moments in life when everything feels too heavy to carry, when the weight of your struggles presses down on you so hard that it feels impossible to move forward. The pain feels endless, the darkness overwhelming, and the thought of a better tomorrow seems like a distant dream. But no matter how heavy this chapter may feel, it is not the end of your story. Life does not stop in the middle of heartbreak, in the middle of failure, in the middle of loss. Even when it feels like nothing will ever change, the pages of your life are still turning and the next chapter is waiting to be written. Pain has a way of convincing you that it is permanent, that the emptiness you feel will never go away. It makes you believe that you will always be stuck in the same place, reliving the same sorrows, carrying the same wounds. But no night lasts forever. No storm rages without end. Every sunrise proves that darkness has no choice but to fade. Every season of struggle carries within it the possibility of change, even when you cannot see it yet. Even when you cannot feel it, life is always moving, always shifting, always making way for something new. Think about the times in your past when you thought you would never make it through. The moments when you believed the pain would break you, yet here you are. You survived the days you thought would destroy you. You endured the nights that felt endless. You carried the weight of sorrow, but you did not let it crush you. That alone is proof that you are stronger than you think, that you are capable of overcoming more than you realize. If you made it through before, you can make it through again. There is so much more ahead of you than the pain you feel right now. There are still experiences waiting for you, still laughter, still love, still dreams that have yet to unfold. The way you feel today is not how you will feel forever. There will come a time when you look back at this chapter and see it for what it truly was. A season of growth, a test of strength, a moment that prepared you for something greater. The struggles you are facing now will one day be the reason you inspire someone else to keep going. Life is unpredictable, but it is also full of second chances, new beginnings, and unexpected beauty. Just because you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel yet does not mean it isn't there. Just because today feels unbearable does not mean tomorrow won't bring a reason to smile. Hold on a little longer. Keep turning the page. The story is still being written, and the best chapters are yet to come.